Hello, it's me, Robert. Figured I'd actually try an actual broadcast instead of just venting. Um, this is who I am. I can't guarantee you'll like it. Um, thought since it was kind of the beginning of a coming out video, I'd choose a night setting, um, just to be a little different. Um, yeah, I gotta stop saying. Well, this is me. I am a Trinitarian Wiccan, and I thought I'd start talking about my story. Which, sorry about the traffic and the airplane. I'm kind of at a public park right now. Most, if not all, my posts will be outdoors. Um, I take advantage of living here in Alaska, and um, it's great. Right now is like perfect time where we actually get nighttime, which you see. Sun's just going down. Um, blah blah blah. This is fun. Kind of wanted to get my story out there, and I'm wasting a lot of time with early on because I'm Alaska Native, or technically American Indian because Aleuts are American Indian, not Alaska Native. Um, as a child, my accent was really heavy, and I grew up in like the forested part of town where it was, borderline redneck type of situation. No offense to anyone that is a proud redneck, just loosely using the term. If you weren't black or you weren't white, you didn't fit in. Um, so yeah, I had a few scuffles there. But growing up, every summer, I'd go out and to the small town of Big Lake because I live here in Anchorage, Alaska. Spend part of my summer with my grandma, and she actually spent time teaching me, native ways, where we'd go out learning plants, picking berries, going fishing, um, teaching me a little bit about my language. Granted, after she died, a lot of people stopped speaking it, so I kind of forgot how to speak my own language. I could say thank you and a few other choice words, um, but that kind of led me on the beginning of my path because, sorry, um, trying to master this whole filming with the phone. She was kind of sort of teaching me to be the next family shaman, and that kind of backfires because she died when I was like 11 or 12. And in the early 90s, there were no books on shamanism. I couldn't teach myself. But I was really into reading and read a bunch of fantasy books. And I remember reading about like swords and sorcery. I wish I could do that. And watching all the different fantasy movies, and you could kind of see how one of the things I prize the most in life is imagination. It could actually do a lot for your life if you let it, if you know how to use it, and can distinguish what can be done, what rules can't be broken, what rules can be bent. Applies to all aspects of life, not just religion or faith or stuff. It works in the job and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I was I almost had my own fantasy thing going on. Thinking small things happen, whether they did or didn't, the imagination kind of feeds it. Because at the time I was, growing up going to this non denominational church. Great place. But something didn't fit. Um, I had my agreements with it and enjoyed it a lot, but it's kind of like buying a shoe that's half a size off where it works, but it's painful to walk too far. Um, and I developed this, after 12, I started experimenting. I started going with family friends as churches. I remember going to Catholic Mass a number of months. I remember going to my friend's Lutheran church. I've actually studied enough about different religions to where I one day want to be an all-faith minister. Because that's the fun part about being Trinitarian Wiccan is I've proven you can believe in Christ and still be a Wiccan. More on that later. But I got into junior high, mixed in with the wrong people. This is off topic, but it gets me there. Started partying with them, skipping school, running away from home, and just doing what I'm not supposed to do. I was a troublesome kid. And honestly, yeah, ended up failing the 7th grade twice because I just wasn't there. When I was there, I did work when I was there. And when it came round coming to the beginning of the school year for my third year of 7th grade, my parents said, no. They had me test out. It was ironic because they proved to them, they're like, look at his paperwork. He aces all his tests, he just isn't theirs. And the ironic part is got stuck going to 8th grade because I fell 3 points short of going to 9th. And they wouldn't let me retake it. But, yeah, so that sent me to a different school because we even moved parts of town and went to a different junior high. Was there for like a month and a half, and because of all the trouble I'd been getting into, the city kind of strongly suggested that I go to this school that specializes in treating troubled youth. That was fun. Going to school with, half the people were in my shoes. I had a few misdemeanors as a kid. And, nothing big, but enough to catch the city's eye. And so I'm sitting there doing this dual thing where half my day is spent doing treatment classes, half the day is doing school. And the school was actually originally supposed to be for pregnant teens. They just so happened to share it with the treatment center. And so here I am. Some of the people in the center were about my age, but then you get into the pregnant teens and they're all like 2, 3, 4 years older than me because of the fact that the school only offered high school classes. And so that kind of was alarming at first because it's literally a school with like maybe 50 kids in it. And spent the school year going to this itty bitty school. It was literally, portables where they were broken into 2 classrooms. And there's 3 of them. We had 5 classes. No, wait, see here. We had 7 classes. That's right. We had Actually, wait, that's Monday, Tuesday. Bad math. We had 9 classes because each Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we had 2 classes, AM and PM. And then Friday was an all-day class. And here I am, barely old enough to be in high school, where I actually should have been in high school that year. But, 2 years behind basically, and I'm taking high school classes. And ended up getting comfortable with it because early on when I was in grade school, they actually put me in special ed because they thought I was slow, and found out that wasn't the case. They put me in the special class where you're doing advanced work, and I didn't do well there. And then after so long, they decided I'm just antisocial, nothing about it. And picked and choose when I did my homework. But that school kind of got me out of it because I was challenged. And then I went to high school the next year. That summer I graduated the program. Following year I started high school. And that was a culture shock. Imagine going from a school with like 50, 55 students to a place with over 2,500 students. And I loved it. Me and a few new people, clicked up together and formed a small circle of friends. And in fact, one guy I still talk to. He's this really, really big guy, and he was a freshman along with me, but imagine him being bigger than the seniors. And he made sure I didn't have the freshman initiations and stuff like that. Anytime they'd try, he'd poof, he'd be right there. So I think he was watching for me. But I ended up making some interesting friends. I think I'll cut this off for the moment because I still only have 2 minutes. And the next part takes more than 2 minutes to explain. So I guess I'll upload this for now, and if you want to hear the rest of this story and like me, just hit subscribe. Any friends or family you think might get a kick out of my story, feel free to share. If you don't like what I have to say, feel free to heckle me. It's just a comment. I might learn something from it, so I'm here. Let's do this.